It amazes me about how many people don't know the history behind the Star-Spangled Banner and why it's played during all major league ball games. But if you stick with me, I will be right back and have that information to share with you. Hey everybody, and I'm back. Actually, our national anthem has been around for a long time. There is a lot of history that goes with it, and there are a lot of reasons why those in the major leagues have it played during previous to the game starting, and why they are to be out on the field when it's played. And the story behind the national anthem, I don't think a lot of people actually know what it is. I honestly didn't know until I started looking it up. And so what I find, I hope you find just as interesting as I did, and maybe you learn something about it. So let's figure out what it is that I found out. Now, I took the information and I'm sharing it with you guys. And I remind you, the information I always get, I always put down at the bottom. I give credit to whatever site I get it from. So you will find out at the end of the video where I got all my information. So the history of Star-Spangled Banner. It is amazing where we got it, and how it started out, and why it is near and dear to veterans all over the United States. So, the Star-Spangled Banner. It started out as a poem by Francis Scott Key, and he was a POW during the 1814, following the burning of Washington and the raid on Alexandria. Francis Scott Key and John Stuart Skinner set sail from Baltimore, heading the ship HMS Minden, flying a flag of truce on a mission approved by President James Madison. Their objective was to secure an exchange of prisoners, one of whom was Dr. William Beans, the elderly and popular town physician of Upper Marlboro, and a friend of Key's who had been captured in his home. Beans was accused of aiding the arrest of British soldiers. Key and Skinner boarded the British flagship HMS Tonnant on September 7 and spoke with Major General Robert Ross and Vice Admiral Alexander Cochrane over a dinner while the two visitors discussed war plans. First, Ross and Cochrane refused to release Beans, but relented after Key and Skinner showed them letters written by wounded British prisoners praising Beans and other Americans for their kind treatment. Because Key and Skinner had heard details of the plans for the attack on Baltimore, they were held captive until after the battle, first aboard HMS Surprise and later back on HMS Minden. After the bombardment, certain British gunboats attempted to slip past the fort and effect a landing in a cove to the west of it, but they were turned away by fire from Fort Cummington, the city's last line of defense. Francis Scott Key witnessed the bombardment and the bombs bursting in air, but did not know how things would turn out until the next morning. The little flag was tattered but still flying. The smaller flag was taken down and a bigger flag was in its place. It was written on December 16th, entitled Defense of McHenry. What was written on September 16th was the National Anthem. The lyrics were, oh no, not the lyrics. The music was written, but there was no lyrics. Throughout the 19th century, the anthem has been played at events such as the 4th of July. In April of 1918, U.S. Congressmen from Maryland introduced a bill to recognize the Star-Spangled Banner as the national anthem. On April 10, 1929, it introduced the bill again, this being the 6th time. The VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, started a petition to officially name the Star-Spangled Banner the national anthem and collected over 5 million signatures. Now you're thinking back in the 1930s, collecting 5 million signatures, which would have been right at the very beginning of World War II, or World War II is just now starting to get heated. Anyway, the petition was given to the United States House Committee on the Judiciary, January 1930. Committee voted to send to the House. They passed it and was sent to Senate and was passed on March 3rd, 1931. President Herbert Hoover officially adopted it as the national anthem on March 4th, 1931. There was a customs plaque detailing how the customs of standing during the anthem came about in Tacoma, Washington on October the 18th, 1893 in the Bostwick building. And you can find these codes in the United States code book. I didn't look it up. I just kind of went with it. It sounded kind of pretty much like what's in the NFL ops book. It says United States Code is 36 United States Code 301. States that during a rendition of the national anthem, I lost my place. United States Code 36, United States Code 301 states that during a rendition of the national anthem, when the flag is displayed, all present except those in uniform should stand at attention facing the flag with the right hand over the heart. Members of the armed forces and veterans who are present and not in uniform may render the military salute. Men, not women, should remove their headdress with their right hand and hold their headdress on the left shoulder, the hand being held over the heart. And individuals in uniform should give the military salute at the first note of the anthem and maintain that position until the last note. And when the flag is not displayed, all present should face forward toward the music and act in the same manner they would if the flag were displayed. Military law requires all vehicles on the installation to stop when the song is played, and all individuals outside to stand at attention and face the direction of the music, and either salute in uniform or place the right hand over the heart if out of uniform. A law passed in 2008 allows military veterans to salute out of uniform as well. However, the statutory suggestion does not have any penalty associated with violations. 36 United States Code 301. This behavior requirement for the national anthem is subject to the same amendment controversies that surround the Pledge of Allegiance. For example, a Jehovah's Witness do not sing the national anthem, though they are taught that standing is an ethical decision that individual believers must make based on their own consciences. So, now you know that the National Anthem was a poem. It started out as a poem, and as he was a prisoner of war, that he wrote, and that's where he got the lyrics. It started out as a poem. So, it's interesting to read stuff that, you know, and find information out to what it is you want to see. Alright, now I'm going to move on to some stuff, and some of the stuff we've already gone over, and I'm going to hit on it lightly again because it will kind of make more sense to you if I do this. So, okay, the whole thing over, what was it, Sunday's game, the 25th, a lot of it was out of protest over President Trump's showing his display, mixing sports and politics together, and expressing his disgust for the athletes who took a knee during the pregame edition of the Star-Spangled Banner. And most players and some coaches and owners reacted against Trump's by linking arms as the national anthem was played before the games. And Pittsburgh Steelers, Seattle Seahawks, and Tennessee Titans remain largely off-field for the anthem. However, the teams, and I'm going to be jumping a little ahead of myself here because I've got everything lined out for myself so I don't forget anything. But the teams, they have to be on the field for the national anthem, and they don't have to salute, they don't have to stand. They are urged to stand and place their hand over the heart and all that, but the only thing they have to do is to be on the sidelines when the anthem is being played, and that's it. So, like I said, some of the stuff I'm going to go back over because I didn't put it in my previous. I had somehow lost some of it, and I had to re-find it, and it didn't get saved for some reason, and I don't know why. So, anyway, the nation's official anthem in 1931, the lyrics date back to 1814, and the national anthem was played sporadically in the 1800s. I don't know, did I tell you that Herbert Hoover made the Star-Spangled Banner the official national anthem March 4th, 1931. So it's been the official, and that's who did it. So here I'm saying it right back all over again. Nation's official anthem in 1931. Lyrics date back to 1814, and the anthem was played sporadically in the 1800s. The earliest rendition came at the opening of the Union Grounds Park in Brooklyn on May 15, 1862, which was during the Civil War. So, this has been going around a long time. It was just getting it to become it's been going around as a different song, name of a different song. So, you can hear a lot of names that it was called, and and whatever. So anyway, so it was during the Civil War also. First documented example from opening day occurred in Philadelphia on April 22nd, 1897. The 1918 World Series between the Chicago Cubs and the Boston Red Sox. The mood, however, perked up considerably when a brass band began playing the Star-Spangled Banner during the 7th inning stretch of one game. The crowd, already standing, showed its first real signs of life all day, joining in a spontaneous singing, halting at first, then finishing with a flare. I mean, that would make people happy since, we've been doing nothing but being in war, and you have I love brass. I love brass bands. I love them. Brass bands and piano. You got me. And, you have this band playing this upbeat song. It helps everybody feel good, at least for a moment. So, the scene made such an impression that the New York Times opened its recap of the game, not with a description of the action on the field, but with an account of the impromptu singing. Made an impression on the two teams' front offices. The Cubs management made sure the band played the anthem during the next two games as well, and attendance, which had been in a rut, increased. When the series moved to Boston's Fenway Park, officials moved the playing of the anthem to the pregame festivities, coupled with the introduction of wounded soldiers who had received free tickets, the authors wrote. The anthem was played periodically in baseball after that, but it took until another war, World War II, before it was played before essentially every game. The national anthem before regular season games was not universal in baseball until 1942 and the start of the World War II. Some clubs started the practice in 1941, said Michael Teven, a spokesman for the Major League Baseball. Since then, the national anthem has been played before virtually every professional and many collegiate and high school baseball, football, basketball, hockey, and soccer contests in this country, said Mark Leibson, author of Flag, an American biography, and What So Proudly We Held by Francis Scott Key Alike. After the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the anthem took on special meaning at sporting events, and some teams arranged pre-game events with survivors and first responders. In some cases, a rendition of America the Beautiful was added, said Elliot J. Gorn, a Loyola University of Chicago historian and co-author of A Brief History of American Sports. So, is there an NFL rule against kneeling during the anthem? This notion gained attention on social media because of President Trump's comments to and the NFL's reaction. One version we came across, and it's gone viral on Facebook and Twitter and whatever else you can pull up, said the player must be played prior to every NFL game. All players must be on the sideline for the thing. Well, let's see. It says that they have to be. It says the specific rule pertaining to the national anthem is found on pages A62 through 63 of the NFL League Rulebook, and it states the national anthem must be played prior to every NFL game, and all players must be on the sideline for the national anthem. During the national anthem, players are everybody's read this. Well, first of all, the only thing on this that is true is the second paragraph that states the national anthem must be played prior to every NFL game, and all players must be on the sidelines for the national anthem. That's the only thing of that whole thing that's gone viral that is the truth. There is no pages 862 through 63 of the NFL League rulebook. In fact, that's one of two books that they consider the military books. That's the rule books, you know. They have another one that is called the Ops book, and that is where you will find this information in, not in the rule book. And I did go to that site, and I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I went through everything. So I just may have seen it and didn't really know what it was. I had no idea. Who knows? But I do know that is what the only thing is they have to stand on the sidelines. The whole team has to be on the sidelines. Otherwise, they can forfeit, you know, something like coin toss, and and you miss the coin toss. I mean, the coin toss is 50-50. It can go either way, and if you miss the coin toss altogether, you automatically give the other team the first start. So, you know, there's some things that they lose if they don't, if they don't come out on the floor. So, just like I just told you, language does not appear in the NFL rulebook. The Holy Grail is the operations book, and they call it the Bible. And there's over 200 pages of procedures and policy of regular season games in that book alone. And just like I told you, players are strongly encouraged but not required to stand during National Anthem. NFL spokesman Joe Lockhart said during a conference call with reporter September the 25th that there will be no discipline handed down this week. He added, "We also believe our players have a right to express themselves." The NFL's game operations manual says that all players must be on the sideline for the National Anthem, and that is what I just said. It also says failure to be on the field by the start of the National Anthem may result in discipline, such as fines, suspensions, and or the full forfeiture of draft choices for violations of the above, including first offenses. That plan backfired, though, when he did not. That plan backfired, though he did not stop to check that the captains were by his side as he walked to the opening of the tunnel, which is how the 6'9" lineman ended up in plain view on the field as the National Anthem began. Players from both the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars were the first to protest by taking a knee ahead of their game at Wembley Stadium in London on Sunday morning. No players were kneeling during the playing of God Save the Queen, the British national anthem. At least 20 Patriots players were spotted kneeling as Tom Brady linked arms with his teammates. Pittsburgh Steelers players were absent from the sideline and remained in the locker room during the Star-Spangled Banner. Villanueva, who served 3 tours in Afghanistan, was the only Steelers player to stand outside the tunnel for the anthem. He also later said that his solitary action was all a big mistake, and he meant to be in the tunnel with his fellow players. He said, "Unfortunately, I threw my teammates under the bus unintentionally." He also said on Monday, "Every single time I see that picture of me standing by myself, I feel embarrassed." He then explained that he had asked to stand in the front of the team with the captains of the squad at the last second, so that they showed some respect for wounded veterans. And he has no reason to feel bad. He has no reason to apologize. He himself is a veteran. from the military. Why is he doesn't need to be protecting them. He deserves to be standing out there and feeling the respect and the love from the fans. I'm sorry. I stay very dehydrated. So I don't think he needs to be feeling bad about, you know, him doing this or him doing it. No. Okay, and there was something else that I did a previous video that I did, and I'll put it in the end of the video because I always do this. But it was, let me see if I have it in my Chrome. Yeah, right here it is. With the director of defense. Now, why is it whenever I want to make my screen bigger, I can't do it, but then when I don't want to do it, it does it all the time. Alright, sorry, I gotta deal with this. So, let's see, because I know there's something I wanted to see on here. So the Director of Defense, Department of Defense, spent millions on paid patriotism since 2009 till 2015. McCain and Flake were sent this down to Obama in 2015 and wrote a bill asking for it to be stopped. And basically what this bill was, it was a $48 million bill, and I think by my understanding of reading this, and I will put this in also, is they were given $48 million a year to the major leagues, and it was set up for special ceremonies and let's say, okay, for instance, this is a good one. You know how whenever you go to a baseball game and say John L. Madden, he's there, so he's gonna do the first pitch, ceremonial, or they're gonna let kids on the field for the day before a game and let them pitch and throw and run the bases. That's something, you know, just that kind of line of thing. Like something that they do sometimes at the Louisville games. They'll have your seat number, and they have you shoot a basket for however far, and this is one they used to have a lot, and you would get free phone service through AT&T. They would do just different kinds of things, and what I found, because I was digging through all kinds of crap, but anyway, what I found was interesting is the money stopped in 2015. 2016, it was not picked back up. 2016, guess who started kneeling? NFL. And I don't understand why they should feel that way, and there's no reason to feel oppressed, and there's no reason to consider that the National Anthem is by any means racist or oppression. And I mean, you know, if you're gonna kneel at something, kneel at the starting song, you know, whatever the damn song it is, but not at a the national anthem. Not it's something that has to do with the military. And, you know, people get pissed off over the Confederate flag. Well, the Confederate flag is a battle flag. And, you know, things on it mean different things. And it's just, you need to learn before you get pissed off. And that's basically the only thing I wanted to do with this video was, nobody wants to look this crap up. They just want to bitch about it. Or they want, well, I didn't mean for you to do it. Well, you know, but you did. And, so that's all I wanted to say. And, make it aware that the Department of Defense is giving money to major leagues. And that's coming out of our pockets. It's coming out of our pockets. And so he stopped it. And, but, yeah. So we were paying out $48,000 altogether to pay when they got hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're paying, you know, players. So anyway, that is my, that is thing. I hope you learned something. Especially you can use this information if you have kids. You can use the information to teach them to your kids. And I'll have you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, send me to somebody else. You guys have a good night. Bye.